Hello. Today's lesson is folk tales. You there? Folk tales. Folk tales. Folk tales are liked by everyone because of its interest, and it is usually handed down to the generation to generation, and has become a very powerful source of information to know the past things and events by the form of a story.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, நீங்க guide
Okay. As it's a live stream, please mute your devices and listen to me only. Right. Today's folk tale we are going to just study is Orpheus and Eurydice, a Greek myth. Once there was a famous musician. First, I just read all these things. Once there was a famous musician called Orpheus. He was considered the greatest musician of the time. Apollo, the great Greek god of music, admired him very much and presented him with a lyre, a musical instrument. No one could resist his music. Humans and gods alike were charmed by his music. It was said that even wild beasts used to sit and listen to him. Meanwhile, Orpheus met a wood nymph called Eurydice. Nymphs were supposed to be minor nature deities who looked like beautiful women. Then they fell in love with each other and got married. They were very happy. One day, Eurydice had the misfortune of stepping on a snake. The snake bit her and she died. Orpheus was heartbroken. He refused to accept that.
கேட்கிற விளங்கல.
Wait. Okay. His wife was dead. Orpheus was a brave man. He decided to go to the land of the dead to bring his wife back. He was not afraid to take on such a perilous journey. After traveling for a long time, he reached the shores of the river Styx, the river which separated the world of the living and the world of the dead. There he met Charon, the boatman of the underworld. Charon refused to take Orpheus in his boat. No one but the dead can enter the underworld, he said. But clever Orpheus, playing his lyre, persuaded Charon to row him across the river. Then he charmed Cerberus, the enormous three-headed guardian dog of the underworld, with his music. The dog let him pass. Hydas and Persephone, the king and the queen of the underworld, were amazed by the purpose of his visit. They were also enchanted by his music and felt sorry for him. I will give you one chance. Hades said, he agreed to let Orpheus take Eurydice back. If you don't look back until you reach the world of the living, she will be yours. But if you break your promise, she will turn into a spirit again. Hades warned. Orpheus agreed and began the journey. But as she stepped from the cave of the underworld, he became impatient. He turned back to look at his wife. Sadly, Eurydice had not yet fully emerged. At once she sank back, murmuring farewell. So this was adapted from Gr.10 in 1997, a classical mythology, London Ultimate Edition, page number 16. Okay, let's have a look at these unfamiliar words. Resist, to withstand, strive against, to oppose, to resist infection. So charmed, something thought to have magic power, piece of jewelry. Jewelry, Jewellery, just correct it. Or the person or thing that attracts others. Wild beasts, wild animals that are large, dangerous or unusual. Wild beasts. Both nymph in folklore or folk tales and classical mythology, a nymph inhabiting woodland, especially a dryad or hamadryad. The nymphs were usually associated with fertile, growing things such as trees or with water. They were not immortal, but were extremely long-lived. So Eurydice was such a wood nymph. And then a deity, a god or goddess, a deity of ancient Greece. And then misfortune is bad luck, good luck, but this is fortune is good luck, but misfortune is bad luck. And refuse indicate or show that one is not willing to do something. It is or reject. You don't agree with something, so you refuse. And then perilous, full of danger or risk. We sometimes have to take some risks to achieve something. So in this story, Orpheus takes a perilous or risks to rescue his wife from the underworld. And river Styx, river, the name of the river, which separated the land of the living and the land of the death. Okay, and then persuade, to make someone agree to do something by giving them reasons why they should persuade. And persuade someone to do something. Nobody could persuade her to change her mind. Persuade, just changing someone's mind. And then enormous, very large in size, a Cerberus, the three-headed dog, as far as you can see on the picture. Cerberus is a three-headed dog, and enormous is very large in size, quantity or extent. Hades and Persephone, they are the god and goddess of the underworld, the king and the queen of the underworld. Okay, and enchanted, so filled with delight or charmed. The orchestra played classical favorites to an enchanted audience. Spirit, the non-physical part of a person, especially from the dead body, a supernatural being, spirit, Avi, and impatient, not patient. Patient is not someone who's not well, but you have to be patient to study, to do everything, whatever you do, not accepting delay, opposition, pain, etc. with calm or patience, indicating lack of patience. Emerged, to appear by coming out of something or out from behind something. Emerge. So we say the road emerged. Okay, she emerged from the sea, blue with cold, murmuring. To speak or say something very quietly, murmuring. And before going to the questions, just we have to have a look at the things back again. Once we usually say in such stories. Once upon a time, there was a so this this story is set in the simple past tense. As far as you can see, once there was a famous musician called Orpheus. So there is was and the presence of cold, and he was considered the greatest musician of the time, Apollo. Then after the comma, just give an extra information to what an Apollo is, the meaning of the word Apollo is, the Greek god of music, and then admired him very much and presented him with a lyre. As far as you can see, Apollo, just let's take the Greek god of music out. Now it reads, Apollo admired him very much, but we don't know who Apollo is, so they just give an extra information. Here, the Greek god of music. So it's about this Apollo, and he admired him very much and presented him with a lyre, a musical instrument. Again, lyre. What is a lyre? A musical instrument. So there is a comma. The presence of comma separates these two things with their meanings. No one could resist. So this is a negative idea. There's no one could resist his music. Humans and gods alike, in the same manner or in the same way, were charmed, past passive, were charmed by his music. It was said that even wild beasts used to sit and listen to him. So that much of interesting, his music was that much enchanting. It was said that even wild beasts and used to sit and listen to him. Meanwhile, in the meantime, Orpheus met a wood nymph called, so the climax, met a wood nymph called Eurydice. So they meet, and there is the information of nymphs were supposed to be minor nature deities. Nymphs were supposed to be minor nature deities who looked like beautiful women. Woman, the plural form woman is women. We have to pronounce it women. Okay, they fell in love. People fall in love. So in such a way, this minor nature deity fell in love with Orpheus and got married. They were very happy. One day, Eurydice had the misfortune. So there was a bad luck. Sometimes people die because of this bad luck, and the same was on Eurydice of stepping. So she stepped her foot on a snake. The snake bit her, and she died. Orpheus was heartbroken. So if something bad happens to our very close relatives or very much very loved ones, we become heartbroken. Okay, and so this is his heart, and this is broken because of her death, and he cries. Okay, right. So he refused to accept that his wife was dead. So this is an adjective, as far as you can see. His wife was dead. Orpheus was a brave man. We usually have this bravery, brave man. That's also an adjective. He decided to go to the land of the dead to bring his wife back. So he was determined to bring his wife back. He was not afraid to take on such a perilous journey. After traveling, we can just use this gerund. After is a preposition, so in front of a noun we can use this preposition. And traveling, gerund, that's a noun, that becomes a noun by adding ing. After traveling for a long time, he reached the shores of the river Styx, the river which, so then they just give an extra information. the river which separated the world of the living and the world of the dead. So this is the extra information of it is used to make us understand what the word river Styx means. So there he met Charon, the boatman of the underworld. Charon refused to take Orpheus, so he disagreed. So because it was such a out of the rules, so he refused to take Orpheus in his boat. No one but the dead can enter the underworld, he said. But clever Orpheus, playing his lyre, persuaded Charon to row him across. Row, so he has to have an oar to row, oar, tudubu, to row him across the river. So they went, this is the river, and they went across from the world of the living to the world of the dead. Row him across the river. Then he charmed Cerberus, the enormous three-headed guardian dog of the underworld. So we saw the picture of the three-headed guardian dog of the underworld earlier, with the enormous, very large three-headed guardian dog of the underworld with his music. So he persuaded, he charmed the dog, let him pass. Let him pass. So we have to use, this is the verb, and we have to use let, not to. Let him to pass. No, not let him to pass. Let him pass. It becomes let him pass. P-A-S-S. Okay. Hades and Persephone, the king and the queen of the underworld, were amazed by the purpose no come of his visit. They were also enchanted. This is also passive. They were also enchanted by his music and felt sorry for him. So they regretted for the absence of his wife and the state which occurred to his wife. I will give you one chance, Hades said. So there's one such golden or precious opportunity given by the king and the queen of the underworld because of his powerful music. Hades said he agreed to let Orpheus take again, to let Orpheus take, to let, not to take, but to let Orpheus take Eurydice back. But he lays a condition: if you don't look back until you reach the world of the living, she'll be yours. If you don't look back until you reach the world of the living, she'll be yours. So if you don't back, this is the present simple, look back until you reach. So until you reach the world of the living, she will be yours. Now she will be. Here we use the simple present, and here, so the first condition of the first condition of the if clause. But if you break your promise, then again there is a condition. If you break your promise, she will turn into a spirit again. Hades warned. So there was a warning. Orpheus agreed and began the journey. But as he stepped from the cave of the underworld, he became impatient. He turned back to look at his wife sadly. Eurydice, sadly. Eurydice. So that was a tragedy. Eurydice had not yet fully emerged. At once she sank back, murmuring farewell. So she bid farewell. Bid farewell. Okay. Now let's get into these questions. Okay. Try to answer these things. What was Orpheus? And the second question is, why was Orpheus called a great musician? Who was Eurydice? What happened to her? Whom did Orpheus meet on his way to the underworld? How did he convince everybody to let him take Eurydice back? And then, why was Orpheus not successful? Give reasons for your answer. What lessons can we learn from this story? So what was Orpheus? Orpheus?
Musician.
Yes, a famous musician. Orpheus was a famous musician. Here, so what was Orpheus? Orpheus was a famous musician. Alright. And then, why was Orpheus called a great musician? Because he was considered the greatest musician of the time. Greatest musician of the time. Why? Because no one could resist his music. Because no one could resist his music. Is that clear? Right. And then, right. And the third one, who was Eurydice? Who was Eurydice? A wood nymph. A wood nymph. Okay. And then what happened to her? What happened to her?
The snake stepped.
Yes, she stepped. Yes, Eurydice had the misfortune of stepping on a snake and she died, isn't it? So, Eurydice had the misfortune of stepping on a snake and she died. Okay. And then, how did he convince everybody to let him Eurydice back? With his music. Sorry. Whom did Orpheus meet on his way to the underworld? Whom did he meet? The boatman, Charon, isn't it? Yes, okay. And then the next question, how did he convince everybody to let him take Eurydice back? By his powerful music or by his music. Why was Orpheus not successful? Give reasons for your answer. He was not successful because someone could say that it is just because of his fate, vidhi. Oh, he was impatient. And although he had all these magical powers of enchanting the others or just attracting others or persuade others by means of his music, he could not be successful because of his impatience. Okay, and then the third thing, what lesson can we learn from this story? Patience is virtue. So you have to be patient on everything you do. So patience is virtue. Alright. Right. So activity 12. Right. God Apollo admired Orpheus very much. Admired, envied, held in high regard or feared? Held in high regard. And then both humans and gods were charmed by his music. Charmed, fascinated, amused, fascinated and saddened.
Fascinated.
Fascinated, that's it. Okay, and then Eurydice had the misfortune to step on a snake. Bad luck, that's good. Bad luck, that's good. That's good. Okay, and then fourth thing, Orpheus was a brave man.
Yes.
Brave, fearless, that's right. Fearless or courageous, isn't it? So Orpheus was not afraid to go to the underworld. Afraid? He was not scared. Scared, that's good. Okay, let's move on to the other.
Dangerous.
Yes, Orpheus undertook a perilous journey as we have studied. It's dangerous, Charon. And then Charon refused to take Orpheus in his boat. Declined. Good. Okay, and then Orpheus persuaded Charon to row him across the river. Persuaded?
Yes.
Convinced. Yes, that's it. Okay, convinced. And then not discouraged, not forced, but he convinced. You sometimes make people convinced. Okay. Hades and Persephone were amazed by Orpheus' visit. Amazed? Astonished, saddened, made happy.
Made happy?
Not so. Not made happy. Were amazed by Orpheus' visit. Astonished.
Astonished.
Astonished. That's right. Okay. ആശ്ചര്യപ്പെട്ടിച്ചു. Then 10th one, Hades and Persephone asked Orpheus to the purpose of his visit. Cause, that's it. Cause and effect, you know, cause. The purpose of his visit. And then the next thing, right, after reading the story by yourself, complete the blanks. Once there was a man who had, we have been given the words below: teach, sick, for, bundle, break, easily, unity, one, unable, come, fight, worried. Okay, so teach. Here I'm going to just teach you some techniques. Teach is a verb, sick, adjective, for, number, bundle, noun, break, verb, easily, adverb, unity, noun, one, number, unable, okay, come, verb, fight, verb, and worried could be, okay, let's see. So once there was a man who had sons, so there should be 4, not, so we can just put 1 because sons is plural, 4 sons. So I just write down 4 sons. They often dash among themselves. This is small. They often verb fight, good, fight among themselves. It made the father worried. Good. Okay, worried. He planned to plus verb stem. Teach them a lesson. When he was sick, okay. Okay, sick. When he was sick, adjective. When he was sick, he asked his sons to
Come.
okay, come to him. Come to him. He gave them a bundle of sticks and asked them to break. Good. Break them. The first 3 of them tried but unable. Okay, unable to break. The youngest one took
One.
okay, one stick at a time and easily, adverb, easily broke all of them. The story tells us that unity is strength. Okay, so we have to match these things. Okay, I just put number wait, 1 2 3 4 and 5. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so right, jeered, incompetent, realize, unity and harmony. And then this side, that is A, this side B, the state of being, agreement, not qualified to act in a particular capacity, shout rude and mocking remarks at, and then become fully aware of something as a fact, understand clearly. The state of being united and joined as a whole. So unity is that 4, isn't it? And then this is done. Become fully aware of something as a fact, understand clearly, realize. Good. Okay, so that is 3. And incompetent, not qualified to act as in a particular capacity. 2. Harmony, The state of?
One.
Okay, 1. 5. And jeered, we jeer. Shout rude and mocking remarks at 1. Okay, is that clear? So that's the end of today's lessons. Hope you have enjoyed my lessons and have a nice day. Bye.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
The